Wow. Morning or good afternoon, everybody. Matthew V. Haynes here, aka the Clockmaster. I'm not even home right now. I'm like in another state right now. Actually, because I came to take my grandfather to see Black Panther. We're going to be watching this movie tonight. So I drove out of my state, drove a few hours just to take my grandfather to see Black Panther. But it's funny because Black Panther, oh shoot, I realize you guys can't probably hear me and my voice is sounding cracky because I'm probably getting the cold. Black Panther is actually doing very good right now. Black Panther is blowing the box office out of the water. I think it was over like $200 million the last time I checked. I think it was domestic box office and the global box office like 300 something. The exact numbers I don't really know. I didn't even look at it before I came here because I know it was changing. But I know last night it was over 200 million, and it's blowing up everywhere. But it's something I want to address in this video, and I want to just share my opinion because I don't really like to talk about political things on my channel, or and I'm not really trying to get into that. I'm not getting into that stuff on this channel, so don't expect too many videos like this. What I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be addressing a specific issue here without really, because I don't like the negativity that discussing politics does, you know, with people. So I try to refrain from discussing politics and political views, and I try to refrain from that. But here's the thing. There's actually an American commentator that I just finished watching a couple of his videos, theory you have to say, by the name of Ben Shapiro. If you guys can go watch the video on your own, form your own opinions, and do your own research, and you know, say what you know, how you feel about it after. But Ben Shapiro, and he had some interesting things to say about Black Panther. And what this movie is doing, really. But all I can say is that from the internet reactions, reading tweets and reading Facebook posts and reading a lot of stuff, well, I would say this. From what I've seen, a lot of white people are actually really up. Not everybody, because I guess not everybody's like that, but I've seen a lot of specific type of white people that are upset that Black people and African people are excited about Black Panther, are finding a sense of pride by watching this fictional movie based on a comic book character that was created by two white guys called Black Panther. And they like to throw that part in. Oh, yeah, Black Panther was created by two white guys. They really love to throw that part in. You know, it adds a sense of reassurance of something that I won't get into on this channel. But here's my response to all this, guys. We know. As a matter of fact, before you even say that, my sense of pride does not come from watching Black Panther. My sense of African pride does not come from watching this movie. It did not originate from watching this movie. I didn't just wake up one day and I was like, yo, I feel like representing Africa. It didn't happen that way. I have been proud of my African ancestry way before this movie. I've been proud of about African culture, about African music, about everything African. I've been proud of a lot of things that represent Africa way before Black Panther, way before reading Black Panther comics, way before even watching this movie. I've been pro-Africa all the time. I was born, my family's from South America. I say this, my family's from South America. I have ancestors from Europe on my dad's side. I have ancestors from China. I have family, you know, like I said, especially on my dad's side, that originate from Europe. I got family that originate from Africa. I got Indian in my blood. I got, like, literally, if you're from the West Indian countries, and people who subscribe to my channel know this, who are from the West Indian countries like Jamaica, Trinidad, especially Trinidad, Grenada, Barbados. You're from the South American Caribbean countries, like Guyana, Suriname, Venezuela. A lot of you guys know that pretty much the entire, if you're from the Caribbean, my dad and I was talking about, if you're from the Caribbean, you're pretty much from all over the place, because everyone came into the Caribbean from Africa, from Europe, from Asia, from everywhere. Everyone came into the Caribbean. So the Caribbean is just like this big blood melting pot of just all cultures and all things, even foods that we eat in the Caribbean too, they come, especially Guyana, where my parents are from in South America, has inspirations from England, from Europe, from China, from the Native Americans that are from South America, and from India. Our main dish that we eat in South America, or in Guyana and especially Grenada, is roti and curry. That's it's Indian food. But that's like our main thing that we eat. So you know what I'm saying? We have a lot of cultures built into this thing. So for me, growing up, being, West Indian and stuff like that, I never really had an issue with, I never had racial issues. I never grew up looking at a white person and being mad or having racial divide and I never grew up with that. I grew up I grew up with white friends, Asian friends, all kind of people. So, it was when I came to the United States is when I was actually exposed to like racism and stuff like that, and actually exposed to a lot of the things and a lot of the history of black oppression and things like that. That's when I came to the United States and I learned about these things and things like that. And for a time, it made me upset or sad that Africans and black people went through what they did. And after doing my own research, years and years ago, doing my own research on African history and because Africa is always portrayed as this continent that is poor, that is not economically stable, that is not, this is always bad, it's dusty land. But when you look at Africa, you look at the history of Africa, and you look at Africa before colonization, you look at Africa culturally, everything. Africa is a rich nation, full of music, full of art, full of language, full of culture, full of everything. Africa as a continent historically has been a nation full of riches, gold, oil, things like that. You guys don't need me to explain the whole colonization thing, because y'all should already know this. And if you don't know it, do your own research and you'll learn more about how things went down. But you look at kings, you look at African kings like Mansa Musa, of Mali, being one of the richest men in all of history, originating from Africa, and this is pre-colonization. Now, I'm not saying that, Africa has always been a continent of peace and things like that. Yes, there have been tribal wars, there have been people fighting amongst each other, just like anywhere in the world. There's been places. That's probably the only thing that Ben Shapiro said that was actually accurate, is that yes, all over the world there's wars, there's anger, there's violence, and not just humanity. Humanity, we're just full of hate, and we're full of sometimes we can be the most violent people ever, and that's just the world. That's just the world. There's no place that's perfect. But when it comes to this movie Black Panther, what this movie does, and this people don't understand this, is yes, it is a comic book movie. It is a movie, first of all, so there's no need to be getting equally triggered or upset that black people actually like a comic book movie. Now, this is not the first black superhero movie. You had Blade. I'm not even going to talk about Catwoman, because Catwoman was just a disgrace to any movie, not just because it's black or whatever. The movie was just bad. You had what else? Yeah, Blade. Like I said, Blade. You had a whole bunch of other little comic books too. You even have Luke Cage. You had a lot of shows and movies and media. You had Static Shock. All these characters that were showed on TV. So this is not the first black superhero movie, but however, I would say this is the first black superhero movie. I just kind of switched into my accent. I'm even trying to switch back. Black Panther is the first, I would say, black superhero movie done on this scale to represent African culture, the good things about African history, the culture, the lifestyle, things like that, things that have never been explored or even seen about Africa ever. And this movie does a good job at showing or showcasing the richness of Africa. Now, yes, Wakanda is a fictional country. We all know this. This country does not exist. We know that a lot of this, or do we know? Who knows? We know this country doesn't exist. We know a lot of these things about this movie. However, it gives yes, it does give black people all over the world a sense of pride, and it should, because, like I said, it's representing black people in a positive way. It's representing African people in a positive way, on this grand scale. Yes, it's Disney. Yes, it's Marvel. Yes, it's still this, but look what it's doing. Millions of people are watching this movie. It's breaking box office records. It's literally opening the doors for brand new things. Directed by a black director. Not even just that. Ryan Coogler is a fantastic writer, fantastic storyteller, fantastic director in general. And adding him to this project just makes things a lot better. And you know, like I said, of course, we as black people love Black Panther. A lot of people don't like it, but the majority of black people love Black Panther. I showed up in my African wear. My whole family showed up in African wear because, yes, we have a movie that is portraying black people in a very positive way. Displaying them, you know, you have a 95%, you have, and not just that, you have female empowerment in this movie. You have the Dora Milaje just kicking butt. Shuri is an advanced scientist. You know, these are fields that you don't normally see, especially popular female scientists. Every time you hear of popular female scientists, despite whatever color they are, is always a breakthrough, because I saw a statistic the other day that a lot of there's becoming more and more female scientists and more female engineers and businesswomen and things like that, and that's good. And the thing is, I heard one thing that this Ben Shapiro said in this video, that now black kids are gonna want to dress up as are gonna want to have claws, jump on cars and be black. Man, that's the most idiotic statement I've ever heard. You know why? Because Spider-Man is a white character. I love Spider-Man. You telling me everybody, when they were a kid, when you're a child and you see Spider-Man, you're gonna want a Spider-Man toys. You're gonna want to be like, shh, shh, shh. It's not safe for Spider-Man. Spider-Man climbs with the sides of skyscrapers, right? Are you telling me that your kid is gonna one day? I mean, I've tried it. I'm trying to climbing up. That's skyscraper. But try climbing up the side of this building. I've never heard somebody complain about. That's what kids do. Kids look at superheroes and they want to be that superhero. And the thing is, what makes Black Panther so good is that you can take your children, your black kids, not just black kids, and you can take anybody, but specifically for black people, you can take your black kids to this movie, and they will have a black superhero that they can look up to and be like, wow, this is a black superhero that you know, because you're a kid, you're gonna have superheroes that you look up to. But now, being black, you're gonna be like, hey, I actually have a character that I can relate to on a racial level, I guess you want to say that. You know, I've always had Superman, I've always had Batman, I've always had Spider-Man, I've always had this, and I've never really looked too much at the race thing. But when I got into Black Panther, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is actually a really cool hero, not just because he's black, but he's also a really cool hero, because there's a lot of black heroes that I don't even like. To be honest, there's a lot of black superheroes in the comic books that I don't even like, that are utter trash to me. So not just because you're black makes me gonna like you just like that, you know what I'm saying? So there's a whole deeper thing beyond all this. But all I gotta say, my whole message about this video, guys, is that Black Panther is literally changing the world. It's changing, and it is like I said, it's a comic book movie, it's a fictional movie. However, it is doing something that has never been done before. It's actually bringing not just black people, but it's bringing everybody together. It's bringing a lot of people together. And the thing about this, you can be any race and watch this movie and enjoy it. It's still a Marvel movie. It's still a Marvel character, and anyone can enjoy this movie, okay? It's just that if you are a black person, African person, you can relate a lot more to the messages and things and references that have been made in this movie. And I think that's the point that people are just making. You know, stop hating and being upset that black people all over the world who don't even read comic books are enjoying this movie. And what this movie does is that it actually opens up a doorway for people to actually do their own research. Because before, I would say, honestly, this is the truth. I've seen this because I've observed this. A lot of black people didn't know too much about African culture or African art or African lifestyle and stuff like that prior to watching Black Panther. And what this movie can do is that you can actually watch Black Panther and now be inspired to learn more about your ancestry, learn more about the richness of Africa, learn more about the food, learn more about the culture, learn more about the history, learn more about the kings and queens that existed in Africa, learn more about that Africa is not just slaves and slavery and bondage. And no, there is a lot of things that people don't know about Africa, and this movie can actually open a doorway. Like I said, open a door to put people onto further research, to learn more about the truth of Africa. because Wakanda's fake, but learn about the real countries and the real history and the real kings and queens and things about Africa. So many countries in Africa, so many cultures, so many tribes, so many stories, so many things to learn, and Africa is full of it. And I think that's just what this movie does. It brings people together and it opens up a doorway to learn more about the truth of Africa. And I think everybody should go watch Black Panther. I think everybody should go enjoy Black Panther, despite your race, despite your color, despite whatever your ethnic background is. Everybody should go watch Black Panther, because there's something in this movie for everybody to learn. Everybody will enjoy. And go just watch a movie. It's just a movie. It's just a movie. Go and enjoy a movie. It's just a movie. It's just a movie, okay? It's an important movie, especially to me, being a Black Panther fan, being a black person. It's an important movie to me personally. You have to identify whether this movie is worth, you know, if it's that important to you. To me, it's that important to me personally, you know. So anyways, that's all I got to say about the subject matter, guys. Like I said, I like spreading love and positivity and peace and happiness and stuff on this channel, and that's what I aim to do. So yeah, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to respect everybody, love everybody, be proud of who you are, be proud of who you are, be proud of who you are, to be proud of where you come from. Embrace it. You don't need Black Panther to embrace the truth about yourself. You have to find that within yourself, and you have to be proud of who you are, despite what anybody says about you, what any movie does. But if Black Panther didn't even come out, you still need to be proud of who you are, and you got to find that within yourself. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see y'all later.